Time for us then to move on to that section of the show that we call Bootstrap. This is where we try and answer all your how-tos when it comes to building your own enterprise. On Bootstrap this week, we're going to talk about compensation for the entrepreneur within his own enterprise. A pretty tricky one if you ask us. Well, Surbhi Goyal is here with an answer.
As an entrepreneur, finalizing your salary can be an extremely tricky affair. The last thing you'd want is to cut too deep the hand that feeds you. But having said that, you have a life to live and there are basic expenses that have to be met. So how do you fix a demand that keeps both you and your company happy?
From a balance point of view, if I am the equity owner, let us say 100% of the company or a majority of the company is mine without any external investments, it is best to keep the company running, keeping the long-term objectives in mind. From a short-term perspective, you can take a salary which is about 25, 50, a lakh or something, which keeps you sustained from the family or other expenses point of view. So I would not suggest taking out too much cash too early from the company if you are the person without having any external investments.
As we grow old and raise capital, investor becomes the third variable in the mix. So how does your compensation change if and when an investor gets involved?
Once you've got an institutional round of investors, then I would say with a proper Series A with a large venture capitalist, you can expect to be probably certainly up to maybe 70% of where you would have been as an employee of a company. I don't think you're going to be at 100% for a long time, probably never. But that delta is made up in the strong equity that you own in the company.
If you have co-founders, there might be a situation where one of the founders might like to take higher salary with less equity in the company or the other way around. Structuring this could be a challenge, and here are some thumb rules to be kept in mind.
Again, there are two parts to it, right? One is, are we equal co-founders, or is there a split in our ownership, in our role played and value played? And once the role has some difference, or and both of you can agree upon that, then there's most likely going to be a difference in the ownership. That is an equity ownership discussion that the three founders need to have in a very open and fair way, and get it over with very early in the discussion. So in the case of cash compensation, the same rules that I mentioned earlier apply, which is if you are a founder, you should be looking to take the minimum amount of money to keep yourself going while you're building the company together. And it might be the person who is taking the, who requires a reasonably higher salary might have to say, you know what, unfortunately, I can't take less, and so I'm willing to trade off a little bit on equity.
Finally, as a company grows, it's important that your individual salary grows along with it too. So how do you structure your individual salary growth within the firm? Here are some simple ways to go about it.
As the company progresses and you start generating revenues and maybe you hit a profitability milestone, you would expect the founders to get market salary, because remember, the company is dependent on the founders, and if their interests are taken care of, finally it would work in the interest of the company.
All of this ensures that you take care of both your personal expenses and company's growth. Though your salary might take a cut in first few years, keep in mind that if your venture takes off, the rewards could be immense.
With that, we wrap it up here on the show this week. But don't forget to keep that feedback coming right into us on starting up at etnow.tv. You can send us an SMS or simply find us on Facebook. We'll say goodbye, but before we go, as we say every week, remember there's never a better time than now to go out there and start up.